Live.
No.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the September 20th, 2022 Wareham Board of Selectmen meeting. May I have a roll call, please? You're muted.
Good evening. Tonight we have Mr. Slavin here, Ms. Wertz, Mr. Chadwick, Mr. Bessie, and Mrs. Whiteside. And 5 out of 5 are here.
And we do expect that Mr. Sullivan will join us and Mr. Bowen will not. May I have a pledge of allegiance, please? Mr. Bessie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Announcements. We'll start with Mr. Slavin. He always has a full slate, as they say.
So today. We have coming up on Saturday, for the rain date of Sunday, the Harvest Moon Festival. This is a festival that used to be around for quite a while and disappeared some years ago. The event is basically a very large family-based event. There will be about 40 vendors, maybe a little more. There'll be food trucks. There will be a cruise and car show that will cover most of downtown Onset. That will start at 10 o'clock. The events will go through with music as well for the rest of the day, and approximately at dusk, which I think is going to be around 6:15 or 6:30. The fireworks would probably start right around there or just after that. The fireworks will be virtually what we used to have for the July 4th fireworks. So we're expecting a lot of people for this. The car show, we're also expecting a lot more than we can probably really handle. We'll be closing basically the road as you're coming in on Onset Ave, right about the Stone Bridge. There'll be a barrier there. There'll be a barrier on South Boulevard the other way, and there'll be a barrier up at the top of Union Ave as well. And all the parking will be down through the pier and along the streets at angles as well. We're expecting to have a minimum of 250 to 300 cars on display. The cars can come and go, but at 5 o'clock at night, if you want to be there for this event, you have to be there because the police will be closing the roads down completely in the area, as we always do for fireworks. We were also been fortunate enough that WaterWiz, which has had a change in ownership, has closed for the season about a week ago and has basically agreed to allow us to use their parking lot for shuttling people in and out. I believe we're going to get 3 of the large buses that GATRA has, and they'll be using those to take people in and out. So if you're going to come for the fireworks, I suggest you go right to the basically WaterWiz, park there, and take the shuttles to make it easy to get in and get out that way. If you're coming during the day, that the system will still be working as far as it goes. But again, remember at 5 o'clock, the road shut down. And if you're in the system inside that area, you're not going out. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other announcements?
That's enough for the day.
Okay. Mr. Bessie, any announcements?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chadwick, any announcements?
None tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Wertz, any announcements?
None tonight.
Okay, I have 2. I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that Carol Couture was blocked out of this meeting last week by mistake and not by this board. It was an error on the part of WCTV. We have apologized to Ms. Couture. It appears she may be blocked out of tonight's meeting as well, and I don't know what happened because I was talking with her earlier. So our apologies to you. The other thing I want to announce is that we did receive a grant from CZM, Coastal Zone Management, of $199,918 for the Main Street project flood resiliency. And that's really important, I think, for our long-term plans for downtown Wareham. Appointments, reappointments, and interviews, we have none, no licenses and permits. So the very first thing I would ask for, Ms. Wertz, would be a motion to accept the curbside revenue.
Make a motion that we vote to accept the FY 23 curbside revenue in the amount of $1,266,300, $732.50.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second,
Motion made and seconded to accept that revenue. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
yes,
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes,
and myself, yes. 500, it is approved. Next item on the agenda is to discuss and possibly vote to include articles on the 2022 annual fall town meeting warrant. You each have a copy of the grid, which includes 30 articles at the moment. It's a draft grid, of course. And you also have gotten copies of all of those articles. And I guess what I will do is ask for, I'll remind you that citizens petitions must be included on the warrant. And the others are submitted by different department heads or by request of the town administrator or whatever, and we can look at those. So the first one that we would be looking at would be Article 1 to approve and fund the 2023 capital plan. And Mr. Sullivan, do you have any comments on that one?
These are the ones that are approved by the capital planning committee and will be in a full administration plan. They include, we're coming up on the new cycle for the police vehicle capital leases. So you'll see about 7 police vehicles, including 1 unmarked, 3 vehicles for some of the departments. Streetlights, we've got we're putting out to bid. We've already done over 1,000 streetlights that have been fixed and upgraded. This would complete the last 700 to be upgraded LED and put some other funds aside for the ornamental lights. And we've got a few others that are about to put on there. So this would be all the town departments outside of school and a water pollution control facility. One thing to know is we've got some other purchases that we've made in the past, and we still can't even we still can't purchase them, including the chassis for an ambulance we've already funded is just coming in about 2 weeks, and that's going to take 180 days at least to build out. So I'm going to request that that's taken so long that we fund the rest of the payments for that, which is about $225,000. We've already put 110 aside. And that way, so we don't fall behind on our 3-year replacement program. So that's just some of the highlights. What you're going to get is a full grid within the next few weeks as they're voted by the capital planning committee.
Great, thank you. Mr. Slavin, I see you have a question, sir.
not so much a question, but since basically what we do here is we just put the articles onto the town meeting warrant, and we're really not discussing our own personal opinions, whether yes or no. And I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but I've gone through every one of them, and I don't see any reason for any one of the number 1 through 27 not to be on the warrant. So if it's acceptable, I would make a motion to accept Articles 1 through 27 to go on the warrant.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to include all of the items 1 through 27 to place them on the warrant. Is there any further discussion of that motion?
no,
Hearing none, I will go for a vote, a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes,
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes,
Ms. Wertz,
yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
myself, yes. Those are all on. And Articles 28, 29, and 30 are on by right, as they are citizens petitions.
Mhm.
May I take a motion for that, Mr. Slavin?
You want a motion to put those on the warrant?
Yeah, just because they are citizens petitions.
Okay, I didn't think we had to, but I'll make a
No,
motion. to put-
we don't. I just want to double check it.
Okay,
So you're moving that Articles 28, 29, and 30 also be included.
as required.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Thanks. I will go for any further discussion. I will go for a roll call vote. All those in favor? Roll call vote, Judy. Mr. Slavin,
Yes,
Mr. Chadwick,
yes,
Ms. Wertz,
Yes,
Mr. Best,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Okay, I will now accept a motion to close the warrant.
motion so made.
Second.
second,
Motion made and seconded to close the warrant. Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes,
Mr. Chadwick,
yes,
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
yes.
and myself, yes. The warrant is closed. There is no other business, 48-hour business to be discussed this evening, so I will go to the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, the day we sort of had, including getting these last ones. So I would say let's wrap this up. And I don't think, Jared, I don't think you're too far from me right now, or where are you over there?
on Palmer Field at the practice.
So I appreciate everybody, and we'll try and get as much information forward on these articles to you in the next couple of weeks. So thank you.
Thank you. As you know, each of you has gotten a copy of the warrant articles as they were submitted. 3 of the warrant articles have very long attachments, and those attachments are on file in the town clerk's office for public viewing. The warrant will be served on those individuals who get served by it on Thursday by our constable. So just so the public knows that. Liaison initiative reports, boards, comments. Mr. Slavin.
okay, first, just to give you some information, I finally received an answer back that we'll probably discuss when Mr. Bowen is back. I'm just going to read, this is from Matt Giancola, Director of Government Affairs and Policy, Cannabis Control Commission. Hi, Selectmen. Interesting. I hope you are well. Sorry I missed your call today. When the commission cannot offer definite legal advice to cities and towns, which we know, municipalities have wide latitude consistent with Chapter 94G to zone authorized marijuana establishments. Limiting the number of delivery licenses within a municipality is likely acceptable. That was a question we had because of the social basis for the deliveries. You may also wish to consult with the Attorney General's Municipal Law Review Unit, as they maybe offer more specific in-depth guidance, which basically means the 3 that we have limited for delivery, we're perfectly okay with. So we're okay there. And as you know, one of the articles that's coming through is a moratorium on the social clubs, et cetera. We're putting a 1-year moratorium suggesting. So when the Cannabis Control Commission gets all their rules, regulations and locations and everything else kind of flushed out, we can go ahead then and put some rules in place that will work for all of us. I went to the FinCom meeting last week. Trish was there also the capital planning meeting. What was interesting for capital planning, their 5-year plan, which was put together, which has some holes out in a lot of areas because people have only asking for so much stuff. The 5-year plan, just to give people an idea what we're looking at for a town and why it's important that we get things in place ready with the money that's available now, is $105 million. That does not include a new water pollution control facility, which we're going to have to do one way or the other. And it only has, I think, less than $9 million allocated to the police station as well. So we're probably looking at $130 to $140 million for 5 years going forward. And that's a huge amount of money for town of Wareham to be able to come up with. So we're really going to have to be very careful what we do and how we do. When we do stuff, we do it once and do it right, or we don't do it at all. And that's all I have to say today.
Thank you, Mr. Chadwick.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Bessie.
Nothing today.
Thank you, Ms. Wertz.
I attended 2 of my committees that I'm liaison to. One is the CPC committee. They were getting themselves in order for putting what they needed out on the warrants for this coming town meeting. It was the first one of those meetings I sat in. I was very impressed on how organized they were and how they got things accomplished. I also attended one of the historical committee meetings where it actually was an entertainment again. There were some older people that came in and sang a number of songs that went all the way from back around the Revolutionary War and up about how good this country was. And I just thought, what a shame we couldn't have that in front of the kids, the school kids, etc. But I think it was very appropriate for a historical committee.
Okay, thank you. I have no reports or anything, so may I have a motion on the minutes of August 9th, please?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes of August 9th.
No second.
And note, please, that it's 2022.
Oh,
Any further
August
discussion?
9th, 2022.
Yeah, thank you. Is
Or
there any
2025, no. So,
Well, no, remember last week we did some from
Yeah.
2019.
Ne-
Okay.
yeah.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
and myself, yes, 500. And is hearing that there is no further business to come before this meeting, I will accept that Slavin motion.
Well, I think we broke a record time-wise. I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Is not debatable. I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Slavin,
Yes.
Mr. Chadwick,
Yes.
Mr. Bessie,
Yes.
Ms. Wertz,
Yes.
myself, yes. Thank you, Wareham. Good night, Wareham. And Miss, I don't have any idea what happened to Miss Couture again this evening, and I apologize. Good night, Wareham.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody. Be safe. Have a good week. Hope to see you.